right, before I mentioned earlier that one of the most important things I think is the timing of your presentation. I probably mention that every single day because I think that's a very important factor, don't you? To make sure the timing of the presentation is correct. That I told you before that if you could take the solution that you have and then find the right time it needs to be made, that solution, also find the right people with the right time coming together on the same day, you make that presentation to the right person at the right time, you're going to be successful about probably 90% of the time on those kind of sales calls. So what is the right time? When you should proceed with a presentation? Now understand that the biggest power you have as a technician and as a salesperson is your ability to say that I should not give a presentation. You understand this? That there are some people that don't qualify for a presentation. Well, let me ask you a question. How many times have you gone out there and said, I shouldn't deal with people like this. I should not be giving a presentation to this person and not giving one to them? How many times have you actually ever done that before? Well, a couple times?
I've done it, yeah.
Done it once? Yeah, you should be doing that about 7 times out of 100. Should be a time where you're saying to yourself, I'm just not going to give a presentation to this person. It's not a good fit for me. I just know this kind of person. He keeps talking about price. I go through the pricing issues. I remember I was at a call with a friend of mine named Rick in Providence, Rhode Island. I was riding along with him. They brought me out to his company to just train him personally for 2 weeks one time. I went out there in the middle of the second week, and we have this old guy in the south part of Providence. And we get out there and we're saying, so what inspired you to call us out here today, Rick and I? And I said, I'm with Quality Control. Rick is the comfort advisor. What inspired you to call us out here today? And the guy says, well, we just want to get a new steam boiler. I said, okay, well, you're not making a decision on this today, are you? And he goes, well, you don't never know. It depends what the price is. I said, well, where are you in the process? I mean, are you beginning the thing or are you done? We got no heat. We got to get something done about this soon, so I want to get something in here. I said, okay. Let's go take a look and see what we can do then. I know the situation. We got no heat now. We need a steam boiler. Sounds like he's interested, a little bit evasive, but let's go forward and see what's going on anyway. I'm still going. I know the mission. We probably got to get something done pretty soon because it's pretty cold out, 20 degrees outside, right? We go downstairs and I said, so Rich, let me ask you a question. What are some of the things you've learned about looking into the steam boiler? Were you the first guy you talked to? No, I've had a couple other people out here already. I said, oh, what can I learn from those guys? And I'm not that good at sales. I'm just a quality control guy, and he's just a comfort advisor. We're not salespeople. so God forbid you call us a salesperson. So, hey, if you were us, what could you learn from the guys who were out here before? Well, the one guy was astronomical on a steam boiler. I'm never going to pay that kind of money. Well, how much money was he offering it to you for? What do you consider astronomical? He goes, he was at $2,500. Wow, $2,500 on a steam boiler? I said, wow, that's something. How about the other guy? Was he a little bit more reasonable? Well, he was crazy too. He was like $1,800. When I told him the first guy was $2,500, he brought his price down to $1,800. I said, wow. I said, so are you saying that if I don't have anything less than $1,800, no matter what I do? How about if I said I had a more quality and premium steam boiler that would last for a long time and had better services, and it was like the best one you could buy, but it costed more than $2,500, it pretty much would eliminate us if I didn't have if I didn't have anything cheaper than $2,500, that would pretty much eliminate me. And he says, yeah, then I'm not. He goes, what is it? It's a steam boiler. I see them at Lowe's all the time. They got them over at Lowe's, and you can get it for $800. And what's going to cost like $500 to put it in? So yeah, you're looking at it probably should be like $1,500 at the most I would pay for this. That's okay. Well, I'll tell you what, if that's the case, I guess we could just eliminate ourselves then, right? So if I had nothing for more than, if everything I do is over $1,500, then we're pretty much done? Yeah, I'm not paying any more than $1,500. That's okay. I'll tell you what, here's our business card. If you need our services in the future, give us a call. But as far as I can see, we're not going to be a fit for you because we don't have anything in that kind of price range. Do your shopping, let us know. I mean, I'm interested to know who has something cheaper than that. I'd like to meet the guy who would put a boiler in for you at $1,500. Sounds like it'd be a really quality type of guy. Can I ask you a question, Frank, before I go? I mean, Rich, before I leave here, can I ask you a question? Yeah, I tried to give him a little lesson. Like, Rich, why do you think buying something cheaper like this is going to be a good idea? I mean, this old boiler was here. How long? 50 years it was here. I said, do you think this one was cheap when they put it in? I don't even know. I said, well, look at this. It's been lasted 50 years. You think it was the cheapest one they could have put in here? No, I suppose it was probably a little more money. I said, so why are you trying to buy something cheaper right now? Why is that going to be a good way of doing this? I questioned his way of doing it. Why is that a good way? Well, that's just the way it is. I don't care. I'm not spending more than $1,500. He still got back in his old groove. I said, okay, well, tell you what, give us a call when you're ready. Rick and I walked out of the house in about 7 minutes. That's what happened. Did I feel bad about the call? We both got in there. Rick's like, well, how do you think that went? Because he's learning from me. I was like, well, I mean, how do you think it went, Rick? Do you think did we waste how much time we wasted there? He was like, I guess we wasted about 7 minutes. I said, well, what do you think of that quality of that call? You think that was going to be a good one for us? Think that we're going to if we made a presentation, do you feel like it would have been worth going through the whole presentation, measuring the thing, and engineering a steam boiler system with a return loop and Hartford loop and everything on this thing? Would this make a lot of sense for us to do all this stuff right now when it's 20 degrees outside and we got plenty of people calling us? We already heard the office say we're swamped with calls. What are we doing with this one? He goes, yeah, you're right. So we went on the very next call. As we were driving, he says, hey, we're done with this one. We disqualified him. She's like, what? Yeah, we disqualified him. All right, well, actually, I got a guy about a block away. He said he has bad heat exchange. He needs you right now. We literally turned the corner, went down a parallel street on the back of the house we were at, looked at the front of the house of this guy with the steam boiler. And while we were there doing the estimate and writing this thing up, we sold a $12,000 heating system to this guy who needed our services. We were looking out the back window at the other guy's house, and he still had 3 or 4 heating companies coming up. They were like a line of trucks on the street trying to give estimates to this other guy. So here it is, the perfect picture. If I could take a snapshot of this, we are at the customer who is buying today, literally, $12,000 system. We're looking at 5 or 6 competitors out our back window lined up to a guy that they're not going to sell something to. Or if God forbid they did sell something to this guy, right? Let me ask you a question. Who are we selling it to? Why are we selling it to them? When should we sell it to them? What are we selling them? And who else is involved with this thing, right? Is it possible you should not sell to some people? Who? If somebody doesn't want your services, I have a saying. I refuse to sell my services to people who don't want them. With me on this, guys? There's no need for you to try to beg for some of your services on this thing. If somebody mentions to you that you've got, that they have a certain brand name in mind, and let's say you sell a certain brand name and they have a different brand name in mind, right? So if somebody says, do you sell brand X? I'm not going to mention any brand names here. I don't want to give people airtime, right? They got to pay for that if they're going to get that airtime. So let's say that they sell, do you sell brand X? And I would say, well, John, what have you heard of brand X? I would never say if I did or didn't first. What have you heard of brand X? And I would say, they'd say, well, I heard it's good. It's really good equipment. I said, well, brand X is a good piece of equipment. No, but if I had something better than brand X, would that eliminate me? If I had something better than brand X, would it eliminate me, guys? No. Well, I'll tell you what, when I get to my presentation, I'll show you what I have. I'll tell you, the brand X is pretty good. It's like a Chevy. It's in the middle. The one I got is the better one. It's a little bit better. I'll show you what I got. I'll show you brand X, too. I'll show you what we got in that one, too. I'll show you something that's kind of like brand X. What is like brand X? Probably the thing in my bottom or 5th or 6th option, because just like the competition is going to do. Just normal unit with normal service, that's what they're going to get. The better options, when I give you a 10-year warranty, 10-year service package, humidifier with 10 years of pads and filters, an air quality system with 10 years of bulbs and filters, and I have a heat recovery system in this thing, zoning, that's going to be way bigger than a normal thing that other people would do, right? So make sure that you're qualifying it to make sure, am I still in the ballgame? If it's only going to be brand X, and I don't sell brand X, would that eliminate me? Find out now, right? Otherwise, what are we going through the dog and pony show? So John, are you saying that if I had something better than brand X, you wouldn't want to even listen to it? No, I'm not listening to it. Shut you down. Can we just end the call right now then, guys? Yes, we can. We could just say it's over with. And now wait for the phone call to come in, because obviously, is your credibility higher that you would walk away from this thing? What's going to happen when he sees guys, he has 4 or 5 guys parade through he doesn't like? Who's the one guy he's going to remember? The guy who walked away from this thing. Remember Jerry in my case? Jerry's story? I chased him out to the street, right? Knocked on his window. Told him to roll it down. Jerry, I begged him to stay. Do I remember Jerry? Oh, very well. Know him very well. How do we know when we should make a presentation? First of all, is everybody here who needs to make a presentation with? Is the husband, the wife, are we talking to everybody we need to talk to? On a service call, it could be about one one person type of a call. On replacement calls or expensive calls, you better bring other people into it. You better ask, John, let me ask you a question. Would it be a good idea to get Mary, your spouse, involved with this one? Because we're getting up there and some of these numbers are going to be pretty high. You sure you want me to bring your wife on this one too, or talk to your wife about it? No, I can make a decision on my own. Let's say he says that to you, right? Then you say, well, John, are you sure? So I'm not going to hear, I got to talk to my wife about this thing when I give you the presentation. I'm not going to hear that one. Put the objection out there now then. See what he says about it. The wife says, no, I can get this, I can make a decision about this. I don't need my husband to make a decision on this. Okay, good, good. So Mary, I'm not going to hear, we need to ask your husband about later on. Am I sure, we're sure about this? I don't want to go through this whole thing and then we have to make 2 presentations. I make it a policy to make 1 presentation. That's all I do. You guys should too. Don't make 2 presentations, only make 1 presentation. Why, if you don't know why we're making the presentation, why do people want this thing? Have you ever heard on a call where you're out there doing a maintenance call or something like that, and somebody says, hey, do you guys sell water heaters? Something like that? Hey, go ahead and ask me, do we sell, think of anything I would sell, go ahead and ask me what it is. Ask me the question.
You guys sell water heaters?
Do I sell water heaters? Well, Dustin, that's an interesting request. Why would you want a water heater?
Mine's got a little grip on it. So kind of put some rust on the floor.
Yeah? Well, yeah, but you can probably just pick the rust up. What's the big deal?
I've heard that might be a sign it's kind of getting ready to burst.
So who's saying all these things right now? Is it better when he's giving the pitch? Who's giving the sales pitch?
He is.
I love it when the homeowner sells me. How do you get the homeowner to sell you? The words why. Go ahead and ask me, hey Joe, do you guys sell humidifiers? Ask me that one tomorrow.
Hey Joe, do you sell humidifiers?
Well, Morrow, why do you want a humidifier? What's going on with what's wrong with the humidity in the house?
It's a little bit dry.
Yeah, well, so what? You can live with it, right?
Well, I got a lot of wood in here. I want to try and protect it.
You heard about that? Where'd you read that?
Everybody I know has got one. They feel good for wood floors.
Yeah? Okay, well, so what should I do then today?
Well, why don't you give me a price on humidifiers?
Are you just talking about it right now? If I gave you a price on a humidifier, what would happen then?
Well, maybe we should go ahead and do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll get some prices and we'll see what you think. Let me get the maintenance call done first though, okay? So if somebody approaches you with something, the best thing to do is, why do you want that? What's the reason why you want that? Now it gets the sales situation. Who's giving the benefits and the rewards of a humidifier? You are. How many times does somebody say you sell humidifiers, you go bring a literature and you start trying to sell them harder than a piece of, sell them on a humidifier, or you try and sell them on an air cleaner type of thing, right? If people approach you with the sale, ask them why they want it. Ask them why they would want that, right? When's a good time to do it? Make an assumption using the contrary question. What's the contrary question on finding out time frame? So the normal question would be, Joe, are you going to make a decision on this today? That's the leading question, right? What's the opposite of leading question? Just put the word not in there instead. What would that sound like? Go ahead, say it. So Joe, you're not making a decision on this today, are you? Oh yeah, of course I would. The neutral question is, what would happen if I did do a presentation today? Right, like I just did there. Well, then we'd probably go ahead and buy it. Probably, because I'm not going to go through all that if you're only probably buying it. Yeah, I'll buy it. Okay, good. I'll get my. See, now you sold it already before you even made the presentation. Isn't that sweet to sell a job before you even made the prices? So now you go into this presentation saying, this job is sold, this is which one we're going to buy. Is that a much healthier way to sell something? As opposed to going through the histrionics and giving all the information only to get to think about it. How many times do you think in your life you've gone through all the information and puking out this information to people and then got people at the end to say they want to think about it? How many times do you think that's happened to you?
Too many.
Would it be in the hundreds? Would it be in the thousands? What would you think it would be? Think about time you spent, all those thousands of times, the amount of minutes that's ticked off the clock that you could have been spent with your family. And if you accumulate all that time in minutes, probably 15 minutes for every 1,000, that's probably 15,000 minutes. I don't even know what it is. That's a lot of time. I don't know how much time that is. It's probably enough to go on a couple of vacations to Europe. I don't know. You could probably see half the world in that time you spent doing that, right? And that time, just like Rick and I found out, is time we could have been better served in front of the customer who would have bought, rather than somebody who wouldn't. There's 2 parts of selling. One is spend time with people who are going to buy, and one is don't spend time with people who aren't going to buy. And that is the if and when of when to present.